What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd. My name, of course, is Aaron Davis, and with me, as always, back again, the king himself, the prince, the sire, is Matt. Just Matt. What's up, Matt?
The prodigal son has returned. It has been a while. Everything feels the same. It's great to be back.
The son.
I said it right.
The
You didn't.
son has returned.
Yes, it has.
So we got a lot to
How
talk
the
about.
turntables?
How the turntables. Fuck, I love The Office.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about this week. Obviously, a bunch of news has happened, a bunch of rumors that I want to go over, and then we had the return of something that I was insanely and I was anticipating, but also nervous about.
Rubik's Cubes?
Rubik's Cubes. Yeah. They're making a really big comeback.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
I'm talking about The Mandalorian season 2.
Oh.
The first episode just came out on Friday, and boy, have I got some introspective commentary on such a program.
Did you write them down?
I didn't. I like shooting from the heart. Making this
Shooting from the heart.
Yeah, shooting from the heart. Really making this feel homely for people. But as I understand it, Matt, you have not seen Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, which means you were about to get some shit spoiled. However, it's okay, because I have not seen Batman: A Death in the Family, and that is what you are going to spoil for me tonight.
Yes, so actually, folks, we are going to spoil things for each other. As Steve or Aaron just mentioned, I will be doing a quick review of Batman,
whatever the fuck his name is tonight.
A Death in the Family, the interactive movie experience. That's an adaptation of Under the Red Hood, a.k.a. A Death in the Family.
Technically, it's an adaptation of
A Death in the Family.
Yeah, A Death in the Family and
but,
Under the Hood, yeah.
I mean, they started with Under the Red Hood. So, long story longer, I'm going to do a quick review of that. You're going to do a quick review of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Joe Mandalorian.
So, who's up first? Do you want to go?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we got a lot of news to go through.
Oh, Joe
first.
Manganiello.
We got news to go through first, man. We got to get through some shit first.
Whatever.
So, first, I'd like to, of course, say the nerd world is mourning once again for the late, great Sean Connery, the first Bond, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Right? He was the first Bond,
God,
right?
no.
No?
No.
Who was the first Bond?
Not him.
I think you might be wrong on that one.
It's not. I have an iPad in my hand. I'll check it out.
Check it out for us. Be our fact checker. He was a James Bond. And
yes. He was in The Rock, which was
he was in The Rock.
Amazing movie.
What's that Harrison Ford movie that I don't like? Indiana Jones. He was in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I think is what finally killed him. I think the shock of doing that movie is what finally did him in, and it's very sad because we can joke about it, which is a little fucked up, but he was an icon, man. He was
Jeopardy on SNL.
He was Sean Connery. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was
the Will Ferrell. Gosh, I don't remember who played him.
Your mother.
Your mother, Trebek. I loved that.
Oh no, I don't have your Wi-Fi on my iPad.
Womp womp.
It's all right. Carry on.
Let's see. So Netflix has announced a live-action Assassin's Creed television show. Now, I'm going to ask you because I never saw the Assassin's Creed movie with Mikhail Fassbender, but was it good?
No.
No?
No.
So I think Fassbender's actually a pretty awesome actor.
Sure he is.
What about that movie didn't you like?
Everything. It was terrible. If you actually play the games, it's one of those like think about any video game adaptation movie, right?
Right.
Have any of them ever had good reviews?
No.
There you go. It's the same thing.
I know, but that just seems like almost a cliche. Like I remember playing the first 2 Assassin's Creed, and then I think I played like 30 minutes of the pirate one.
That's the best one, Black Flag.
Is it Black Flag?
Mm-hmm.
And then don't they have another game coming out?
Well,
soon
they do
as well?
every year. Yeah, Valhalla comes out in 7 days.
Valhalla, that's right. Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be coming to you live on Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, brought to you in part by the Bat and Hat podcast.
When do those come out, by the way? Are there official
in
release
10
dates for
days?
Oh, really?
Yeah, brought to you in part by the Bat and the Hat podcast.
Do they drop on the same day just to fuck everybody?
Yes, both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 brought to you in part by the Bat and the Hat podcast.
Brought to you in part as if we had anything to do with the
I
conception.
hope that they I hope they reach out to us.
Maybe they'll hear this and they'll be
Yeah.
like, "We'd like for you guys to be brand ambassadors," and they'll send us.
They'll probably be like, "We'd like for you guys to be bill ambassadors and pay us for name dropping our consoles."
Oh, absolutely.
But Valhalla literally comes out 7 days from today.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. And the movie was awful. It was so bad. You can't just get a good actor. They tried the same thing with Max Payne, but I wouldn't say that Mark Wahlberg is necessarily a good actor. But
they did the same thing with Prince of Persia.
Yeah, with Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Which that movie is horribly good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so is Doom with The
casting.
Rock and Carl Urban.
Ah, yeah. The Doom, that was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
So do you think that the show is going to be any... I mean, we've come such a long way, especially with like television adaptations. I can't assume it's going to be bad.
Well, no, look at the way they do series on Netflix and things like that now.
The Witcher.
Like they treat them with respect.
Right.
They take the story and they're like, let's not make this shit.
Well, they take them seriously, right?
At the same time, it's not even just taking it seriously. It's a lot of these stories need more than 2 hours.
Right.
So, like The Witcher worked.
Right. A
lot of people hated the timeline of The Witcher, but I'm telling you, it's going to pay off in the next season. I know it.
Oh, sure.
It's going to happen.
And I think that's the fun of it. So I was not crazy into the Assassin's Creed games. However, I am pretty excited about the show because I think I'm going to jump into it.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Speaking of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, more specifically the PS5 because it is an exclusive game, the Prowler was confirmed as a villain in the Spider-Man Miles Morales video game. And of course, that will be his uncle, Aaron Davis.
Are you surprised by that at all?
No, not at all.
Because of the success of Spider-Verse?
No, I'm more surprised that it wasn't announced upon the game's announcement itself.
Sure. It's like it wasn't a surprise, right?
Yeah. I would have thought that in that initial trailer, it would have had glimpses of the Prowler. And I think that would have gotten people even more excited. And on top of that, Marvel and Insomniac Games released this awesome trailer just for the Into the Spider-Verse suit. That is going to be one of the suits that you can get in the game. And
it even has like the glitchy delay.
So,
like, it's so weird.
I was explaining to some people at work, Mythical Mountain in Jacksonville, Florida. Those for you who don't know, is the comic book shop that I work at.
Oh, the comic book shop right here off San Jose Boulevard?
Right here off San Jose Boulevard, that Mythical Mountain in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, they're great. I participate in their auctions on the weekends all the time.
For sure, yeah. We actually do live auctions on Facebook. Mythical Mountain on Facebook, where we do, it's actually more of a claim sale where we'll throw books up at discounted rates, and you guys can claim them live on the interwebs, and it's a good time.
You guys be better patrons than me. That's all I'll say.
I think that what was I just thinking about? We were just talking. Oh, so what I was explaining to somebody about that was that, so the cool thing about it was he was animated. Miles, the whole movie was animated at like 30 frames per second, right? Or like half of that. He was animated at like a super low frame count.
Did it take you a minute to adjust the first time you saw that movie?
Yes,
it did for me.
For sure. Especially like the dots. What do they call those art dots that are made for focusing? The Ditko dots and stuff.
I don't know, but the first time I watched the movie, I was like, I can't do this. Like it was so odd. I hated it.
It took me a while, but not a while, but like it took you a second to blend in. But he was animated at a lower frame rate, so he was very glitchy and weird, and it was kind of to show that he was like
broken in time.
That he was learning and that he wasn't a full-fledged Spider-Man. And then at the end of the movie, when he finally donned his suit and he jumps from the building top, he was finally animated at the full frame.
He was in 4K.
Yeah, so like Spider-Man, all the Peter Parkers, they were animated at a full frame rate, and he was animated at half that. So he constantly looked glitchy and kind of slow and weird. I just think that's so cool. And so they put that into the game. Cool. That suit is also animated at a lower frame rate, so it looks very clunky, but in a fun way.
When I saw the trailer, I hated it because I forgot about that, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh no, it's
weird?
like it's a thing about the movie," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
So there's some really cool HBO Max news. There's actually a bunch of HBO Max news, which I'm excited
I
about.
feel like there's HBO Max news every other day.
Which I'm okay with. I've learned over the last year, just fun facts with Steve. I've learned over the last year, I don't give a fuck about Disney Plus until The Mandalorian comes back around. And HBO Max, however, that is what I get excited for. For those of you wondering what that loud crinkling sound is,
Nope.
That's
Nope.
oh
it's
yeah,
it's just a candle.
that's just a super fun sounding candle on the microphone.
HBO Max is where the premiere of the Snyder Cut will take place.
Yeah, HBO Max is I get excited. So on November 1st, they just put Titans, the first 2 seasons, and Young Justice onto HBO Max. I'm currently watching through Young Justice again because I just love the show.
So is DC Universe still a thing?
So DC Universe is going to stay a thing. However, it is only going to be for comic books. They're going to take all of their media off of it, and then they're going to have their entire backlog of comic books.
So if we want to watch Titans or Doom Patrol,
it's going to be HBO Max.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all going to be on HBO Max, which is fine by me. But the HBO Max news, HBO Max is looking for 2 people of color to fill 2 separate roles in 2 different shows that are pretty awesome to think about. The first one that's interesting to me is Tim Drake, the third Robin for season 3. So for season 3, Tim Drake is going to come in. Again, they're trying to cast a person of color, and they have been on the hunt, and they have not yet. So the question is there going to be a time jump? Because we know Red Hood's coming in. So there has to be a time jump at some point, especially if we're going to have Tim Drake Robin. This has got to be far enough into the future that's been able to take place, right? Maybe in this time, however far the jump is, Jason Todd has died.
Well, funny about Death in the Family that I'll talk about later, it depends on your age disparity of Tim Drake and
right. Well, and if you look
Todd,
at that show, the difference in age between Jason Todd and Dick Grayson is only a couple of years.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, this version of Jason Todd is still very young.
Right. So, well, and so that's why I ask, are they going to try the whole time jump where it's at least a couple years in the future? Maybe it's 3-4 years. That's plenty of time to get everything done. Plenty of time. It could be 2 years, technically. Plenty of time for Jason to have died and come back, and for him to found a Tim Drake. The second person of color that HBO Max is looking to cast is a new Green Lantern for the HBO Max Green Lantern series, and is going to be a female character. And
interesting.
The only thing that's truly interesting about that is a lot of people immediately started speculating that it was going to be Sojourner. I don't know how to say the last name. Sojourner Merlane. It's a new comic series. It was part of I don't know if it was part of DC's Young Animals, but it was part of like an offline. It's called Far Sector.
Was she Blue Lantern?
No. It's like a new DC comic from this year, and she's a Green Lantern. She has these like big visor like mask, but it's interesting. They immediately, when the rumor came out, they were like, by the way, it's not gonna be her. So I don't know. I think that's cool. I always love to see whenever they're trying new things. Tim Drake as a character 100% works. I think that it was what's his name, Mark Bernardin on The Bat in the Hat. Oh, The Bat in the Hat. That's our fucking
us.
show. That's on Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man Beyond.
It's easy to get confused.
I know, because we're such a ripoff.
We have the same guest. And,
it's always
it's
the same
deal. So.
But I think it was Mark Bernardin who said that for a character, for them to change that character from like white to black to whatever race to whatever they wanted to do, it at least had to make sense. Bruce Wayne as himself could never be a black character because his history, his past, how the Waynes got their money, it wouldn't work for a person of color. However, Tim Drake and his story, Jason Todd and his story, would 100% work as a person of color, and I think that's awesome.
Can I tell you something that I've kept to myself for a while? Speaking of persons of color and all of that stuff, but
sure.
So like I'm one of those ones where I'm like, hey, if it works, race doesn't matter to me.
Right.
White, black, and different, it doesn't matter. So here's my thing, Bane, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy that played M'Baku?
Do you have it? Oh, yeah.
In Black Panther?
Yeah.
I want him to be Bane.
That's your dream person of color casting? Like
No. It's not, take out the person of color part. That's my dream casting of Bane.
Oh, just in general.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, of course.
The huge guy from the Mountain Tribe?
Yeah.
I want him to play Bane.
That's fair. I could see
so
that.
bad. Like
yeah,
he's got the size.
Jordan Peele's Us.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he
I
was
didn't
the
see that
dad in
one.
Jordan Peele's
Oh,
house.
okay, I didn't see that.
And he was chubby. He was
But I saw him in
fat that
Spencer
movie.
Confidential with
Yep. Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. But he's just like, he's got the size, he's got the charisma. I'm like, come on, dude, just let him be Bane. Give him a luchador mask. Let him rip it
I think
up.
it'd be pretty cool. I could see that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like one of my.
Well, I mean, again, there's no reason to have to dance around it or to feel one way or the other. I think it's great that they're looking to kind of race bend and gender bend a lot of these roles. I think, again, Tim Drake is a character. Bane is a character. Bane is Hispanic
so
by nature, and there's a wide variety of skin tones that are associated with Hispanic
and
people
we can
in general.
argue one of the most popular Green Lanterns is a black man.
Oh, John Stewart probably is. I mean, I know that I grew up with John Stewart as my Green Lantern.
I'm on that. Idris Elba would be perfect for anything. I'm one of those guys.
You know who I'm on now when it comes to that, because people have been throwing the casting.
The guy
around.
from Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet. What's his name?
Denzel's son.
Yeah, I can never remember his actual name, but Denzel Washington's
Michael
kid.
Clark. No,
Michael Clark Duncan.
No, he's got like 3. Well,
yeah,
obviously
it is.
The last one's Washington, but
yeah, Denzel's kid.
Anyways, yes, I agree with you. He would be a great John Stewart because he's funny as hell in Ballers. If you've ever seen Ballers,
I've watched all of Ballers. Really great show.
Freaking great.
Yeah. So there is a much bigger HBO Max rumor, by the way, that I wanted to get to, because this is one that we may take a few minutes to talk about. HBO Max. Now, again, big rumor, but it's come from 3 different sources, 3 different articles that I've been able to find so far. HBO Max is so pleased with the current production of Zack Snyder's Justice League, that they are already in talks to continuing his Justice League into a sequel. And that is where last week, guys, if you remember, we talked about, Matt, I don't know if you heard any of last week's show, but last week we were talking about how there's also rumors out there that Ben Affleck has signed on to more movie cameos and an HBO Max series. This is possibly a huge tie-in to that Ben Affleck is coming back as his version of Batman for future Zack Snyder Justice League stuff, because the rumor is that they are so pleased with now you got to remember, they've gone completely over budget. The original estimate was between 35 and like $45 million. They're at like the $90 million mark.
Well, they're reshooting and everything now.
They're doing a lot. So
yeah,
they're making a whole fucking movie. I would
There's that damn candle again.
I would guess that they would actually gosh, that candle keeps throwing me off.
That candle is just
I would guess
nuts.
that they actually we would see very little of the Justice League we saw on screen. You know what I mean? This movie I think is going to actually end up being a drastically different movie.
Well, here's what I think, and I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. I think that the recut, or the Snyder cut, if you will, is going to be badass.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be awesome. And there's so many people that are just like, oh, it's going to be the same movie, just reorganized. No, I think it's going to be a completely different movie. I think you're right. They're going to, at this point, they're making a whole new movie with a little bit of recycled footage. But the whole, like, Ben Affleck on the series and all that, that's been a rumor for a long time at this point. So until I see some concrete evidence where he's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing it, I'm not buying it.
Well, I mean, I like to think.
No, I mean, I would love
like
it.
to get excited.
Well,
by that
you know
idea.
that I want Joe Magninello.
These are new rumors that are surfacing.
I want Joe Magninello's Deathstroke.
Right.
Why aren't you laughing at my Joe Magninello?
Joe Manganiello?
Magninello.
Say it with me. Joe Manganiello.
Magninello. Sofia Vergara.
No, I mean, I think it would be great. I would love to see that Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder is my favorite. I think he's amazing. I disagree with him. I've said it before. I disagree with him on certain points of his Batman. His whole Batman kills, you need to get over it. I don't agree with that.
Well, he fucked up in BVS. He did it too soon.
Right. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think that even he's had to dial that back a little bit, but we'll actually see. Maybe Batman's going to be murdering people in this movie.
Well, you know what's funny that you said that is I love the Batman and BVS, and I hate Batman and Justice League.
Yeah, but
I can't stand
So
him.
the reason is because he actually fucking wrote Batman and BVS, and then Joss Whedon was like, you know what would be great if Batman made a bunch of funnies.
Well, yeah, I know. Oh, something's definitely bleeding.
Yeah, they already said that. I think it came out this week that I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Ray Fisher as part of the whole argument with Warner Brothers and everything going on here. because it's been getting really nasty lately. But they said that Zack Snyder, originally it was reported that he chose Joss Whedon, and apparently that is not the case. Apparently the studio brought Joss Whedon in because they liked what he did so much with the Avengers, and they're like, can you do that for us?
Well, Zach's circumstances were really bad, right?
Oh yeah, of course. His daughter killed herself, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, his daughter
I think
passed
people
away.
tend to throw that to the wayside, where they're like, "Oh, he just quit."
Well,
no, dude, he didn't just quit.
It was an
he had,
awful
like,
situation.
It's
just
really
the point
bad
of
circumstances.
he also didn't get to choose his replacement. He didn't have any sign off on what they did to the movie.
Well, you got to figure at the time he probably didn't care. Like,
I mean,
he was like, I got more important shit to deal with. So,
but at some point, which is why he's back doing it now.
Of course,
you're like, okay, this was my brainchild.
Well, yeah.
I want to.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. At the time, you got to figure that he was like, I got more important shit to deal with. But moving on.
What do we got? So Star Wars. Star Wars released this very short. It was just a 1 minute. I don't know if you saw it. It was this Obi-Wan Kenobi like through the ages animated short. And it just had to do with their like this online kids kind of thing, but it was very cool because it had like a lot of voice talent that was styled to be like Alec Guinness and then Ewan McGregor, and it was just really cool because it was kind of like this weird 1 minute Obi-Wan Kenobi through the ages. And I just thought that it was a really, really neat 1 minute animated video. If you guys haven't seen it, check out our Facebook page, the Bat in the Hat podcast on Facebook, and go look at it because I definitely posted it there. I don't know, I just thought that was neat. EA also put a job listing out, and it accidentally confirmed that there was a new Star Wars game being made currently.
Yeah, I've heard that might be like the Force Unleashed 3 or, 10 different things it could be.
Yeah, it didn't say anything specific. It was just looking for programmers, and it was looking for people to work. I mean, I assume there's 1,000 positions that go into making video games, but it said in the description new Star Wars game, and it also said 2 other things that weren't nearly as important, but I think that's pretty cool. You know what? I don't think Star Wars games as of late have been amazing, so I don't really give a fuck. I think EA is the laziest. Like, I don't like EA at all.
I don't know. People like that Fallen Order game that just came out with the guy from Shameless.
Right.
And I bought it. I played it for about 30 minutes, and I haven't touched it since.
I haven't played it at all.
So.
I've watched some of the gameplay, and I didn't hate it, but like the Battlefront games to me lately have been kind of shitty.
Garbage.
I think that, I don't know, I just haven't enjoyed any of it. So The Force Unleashed, I think, was the last game that I ever liked.
I love those games.
Yeah.
I think it was the concept, really.
And it's tough because you can't really go back and play them anymore.
No, they're terrible.
They're terrible to play now because we're so used to new graphics.
Yep.
And I don't remember what the name of the game was with the guy who was like a vampire. Was that part of Fallen Order? The guy who was in that vampire show, Almost Human, or whatever?
That was Force Unleashed. He played Starkiller.
But that was the Force Unleashed 2, right?
He played Starkiller in 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Really? Because I feel like then I was just watching cinematics of that the other day, and they looked amazing for when those games came out.
Yeah, he played Starkiller in 1 and 2.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, the cinematics I was watching were pretty dope. See, that just goes to show those games were dope as fuck.
No, the Force Unleashed was good. They haven't aged well.
No, so. Just as far as gameplay goes and whatnot, the story is still pretty cool.
No.
And then last bit of Star Wars news, not news even, because we're rounding the corner on our news segment, and speaking of rounding the corner, we were just talking about this earlier. Today is November 4th, Wednesday.
It's second Monday, the second.
No, the day this comes out is
today
November
currently
4th.
will be November
4th, right?
3rd Wednesday.
No, Tuesday is Wednesday.
Shit, 4th.
Or I just said Tuesday is Wednesday.
I'm looking right at
Tuesday's
the date.
the 3rd, Election Day, and then this is the 4th. We're not smart people.
4th.
Congratulations to some of you. I'm so sorry to the rest of you. Me and Matt were just making jokes about that before. We don't get political on the show, and we definitely won't.
I do.
We'll continue.
Why don't you go ahead and comment about my shirt that I'm wearing?
I like that shirt. It's what does it say? Vote for Dexter.
Vote Dexter for
Vote
president.
Dexter for president.
You know, the serial killer.
I think that's That's pretty spiffy right there.
Yeah.
Which again, we just talked about a couple weeks ago. That show's coming back, or they're doing a limited series for that show, I guess, to kind of end it because nobody liked the actual ending.
Yeah, but hey, not to talk about any of that, but not to toot our own horn either, but in the midst of all this chaos that we call politics,
Mm-hmm.
can we all find solace in nerddom?
Oh
Can we
yeah,
all just come together and
I'm way more interested in the Mandalorian than I am in whatever's going to happen with the election.
come on, guys? No matter who's president, we'll still unite over this stuff, right?
I just think it's funny that somebody's gonna be listening to this and it's already happened.
They're like, God damn
like,
it!
we already have
Son of a bitch!
They're gonna be listening to this and they're being like, those poor bastards. If only they knew,
They'll either be a Trump supporter and they're like, yeah, if he won, and then or they'll either be a Biden supporter and be like, yeah, if he won,
or
both
the
of them,
opposite reactions.
What's the opposite?
Or sadness.
No.
But yeah, let's talk about
sadness.
the Mandalorian season 2 episode 1 real quick. So Matt hasn't seen it again. I'm gonna spoil the fucking shit out of it because every week we are going to go on a little watch along for the Mandalorian because I'm just so excited that it's back. And man, did this holy fuck, this absolutely proved that. And somebody said, I don't remember who it was, somebody at my store said it best. This oddly enough proves that Star Wars is better when the Skywalkers are not involved, if that makes any sense. This was so much fun. You have the idea that you got introduced to the idea that the Mandalorian has been quested to return the child to its own kind. So now we're on a journey to find the race of beings that is the baby Yoda's, the child. He gets told that there's a Mandalorian, on Tatooine in, where is it? What is it called?
Don't ask me.
Mos Pelgo, I guess. He was told by a criminal that there was a Mandalorian on Tatooine on Mos Pelgo, and he goes there in search of him for help. And then when he gets there, he finds Timothy Oliphant, Timothy Elephant, playing character Cobb Vanth. Hitman? Was he Hitman?
Yes, he was Hitman.
Fuck. I haven't seen that movie in it has to be 15 years.
The best thing I've seen him in recently was Santa Clarita Diet.
The Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh my god, I love that show so much.
I loved him as sexy salesman in The Office. Somebody posted that he's like, I guess he's just gonna play a fucking sheriff until he retires. Justified.
Oh, Justified. Yeah, just recently watched Justified. It was good until the end, just like many shows.
Yeah.
So.
But no, it was fantastic. So Timothy Oliphant played Cobb Vanth, and he was wearing Boba Fett's armor. And when you see him walk through the door and you see those signature colors and you see him just being who he is, it's fucking insane. I don't know. I got hyped. Maybe I'm not articulating that well, but I was super excited. So they basically have to save this town from a big sandworm. Whoop-de-doo. They do it. But all in all, it was a great start to The Mandalorian Season 2, and it was something that I cannot wait to see more of in the future. And I'd really like to know what you guys think. Go ahead and comment, message us, do whatever. We're going to put posts on Instagram at BatHatPod, Twitter at BatHatPod, TikTok at BatHatPod, and we're going to put stuff on the Bat in the Hat podcast on Facebook. Let us know what you guys thought of The Mandalorian Season 2. I'm going to try to do a poll, although Facebook removed my ability to do a poll. Not my ability, like everyone's ability. They kind of I don't know, they took it away. And I'm not super happy about that. But yeah, I thought that this was just a great example of what Star Wars can be. I think that The Mandalorian is a perfect insight into the broader world. New characters, new races of aliens, new storylines that don't just involve lightsabers and the Force. It's fresh, it's fun, it's exciting, and just like Timothy Oliphant, we always get some really great guest stars, and they had a really phenomenal Iron Man throwback to when there's like this tank of bad guys driving away, and he leans forward, and the rocket blasts off of his jetpack and blows it up, just like in the first Iron Man when he went to the Middle East. So much fun. And I just can't wait for Friday when episode 2 comes out, and I'm going to watch it immediately. I actually didn't get to watch it until like a whole 24 hours had passed, and I was pretty upset about that. So this time, as soon as it's released, midnight on the dot or whenever the fuck they put it out, I'm going to be watching it. And just like that, we are now on to Matt, who is going to talk to us about Batman, A Death in the Family, the interactive experience, which I paid for to rent, and then found out that when you rent the digital version only, you don't get the fucking interactive part. So I basically watched a 30-minute recap of Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, so you want to know a fun fact is, at least for the first week, if you bought it digitally, we're talking about Batman, Under the Red Hood. Well, no, I'm sorry. Batman, A Death in the Family. You only get the initial film, which is this. Wait for it, everybody. It's Batman retelling the events of Under the Red Hood to Clark Kent in a diner.
But their signature eating pie together at a diner.
Oh, yeah, but everybody knows that scene, right? Where, like, all the parodies on YouTube and stuff where they're sitting in a diner and all that shit.
Right.
So you're waiting for something to happen. There's nothing that's going to happen,
Nope.
folks. It's literally Batman saying, my partner, my soldier, my fault. All over again.
I love how often he called him his son in that, though.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
killed
In
my
this one,
son.
he embraces that Jason Todd is his not natural son. So what I'm going to do here, folks, is I'm going to keep this short. My reviews in the past have been so overwinded, so overdrawn.
That we've had to cut them
I'm going to
out.
keep saying over words. No, I'm just kidding. It's an interactive film, so there's many chances for you to choose how it goes. I'm going to tell you about my choices, but I'm going to quickly give you all of the endings. So it's going to be kind of cool. I'll give you like the logistics. So number one, if you do like Steve and I did, and you just buy the film digitally thinking, oh, sweet, I'm going to see some new endings. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get Batman. Let me rephrase it. You're going to get Bruce Wayne talking to Clark Kent over some fucking pie, recapping the events of the film Under the Red Hood. The end. Done. Get a couple shorts. Get a couple DC shorts you don't care about because that's not what you bought the movie for.
I would like to say,
Go ahead, say.
I very much enjoyed the shorts.
Fuck the shorts.
Those
Nobody
four...
bought it for the shorts.
No, I didn't pay money for the shorts, but I did very much enjoy the shorts.
I enjoyed one short because it was Carl Urban. That was it.
That one.
The one about the Nazis and all that shit.
Yeah, but who was that? Because Frankenstein was in it. Frankenstein was in it. It was you know what? I can't remember. I enjoyed it though. Sergeant Rock. It was Sergeant Rock. You're right. That was Carl Urban.
Yeah, and it was Carl Urban. He was like, I am the law. And we're like, sweet. So, if you buy the movie with no alternate endings, that's what you get. So, let's go through the 3 alternate endings. And I'm going to go through them in the order that I want to. Number 1, I'm going to call it the Hush ending. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen what Jason Todd looks like when he looks like Hush. He's got the bandages, he's got the trench coat, he's got the R suit. Looks a lot like Hush, the graphic novel. You know what I'm talking about, yes? Perfect. All right, so in this version, Jason survives. Bruce dies. So basically what happens is Jason comes back with a vengeance. He's killing everybody. In this version, he kills Cheetah. He kills Black Mask, which if you remember in Under the Red Hood, he does the epic wave at you when I do the bazooka.
The rocket launcher, right.
Well, in this version, he flicks him off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. He's up there again, gives him a bird, and he blows his ass up. It's amazing.
Does it kill Black Mask
in
that one?
Okay. Absolutely.
Because it doesn't in Under the Red Hood.
Oh, yeah. He absolutely kills his ass. He kills the Riddler also.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so here's the kicker with this one. So, he's like the Hush-esque Jason, blah, blah, blah. Bruce is dead, so Dick is obviously Batman. Oh, you haven't seen this, so I can't say obviously. But
I got that feeling because I did see a part of this one we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized there was a Batman and it said something about Dick and he was leaning over the Bat computer, I was like, oh, I guess Nightwing became Batman.
Yeah, yeah. So in this version, Dick becomes Batman, takes over the cowl. But here's what makes it good is at the end, are you very familiar with Under the Red Hood? I've seen that movie about 1,000
Oh
times.
yeah, I've seen it.
So
I think I just watched it again like 2 weeks ago.
well, you know when Jason and Bruce fight on the top of the church, correct?
Yeah.
So
Awesome scene.
Jason makes it up to the church, and then Talia shows up, right?
Right.
And she's basically saying, "Hey, I want you to take over the league. I want you to kill the Joker, blah, 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 blah." And you're like, yeah, this is stereotypical shit. And then all of a sudden she opens her freaking jacket and she has Damien as a baby.
I was supposed to say, like, baby Damien?
She has baby Damien. Jason realizes who it is. And he goes, "You know what? I'll take over." But his little internal monologue says, what better way to get back at Bruce than to get his own child and basically saying, I want the Bat family and the Al Ghul family to turn on each other.
Right.
So he's basically saying, I'm going to twist them all up. So it's kind of cool.
It was kind of like the way you're describing it. You remember in Young Justice season 3 when they go to the League of Shadows and
it's kind of the same, actually.
You remember she walks out with baby Damien and then Jason Todd's obviously right there and he's like, "Gray son." She's like, "Oh, you're starting to remember," It's
kind of like that.
Yeah.
But in this one, Jason knows who he is. And
Right.
he's like, I'm going to manipulate his ass. And he's going to, So there's that one. Second ending I'll go over is Red Robin ending. Have you seen that one in the trailers?
No, I haven't seen any of those. I mean, I've seen it in the trailers, which really confused me because I've always known Tim Drake to become Red
Exactly.
Robin.
So we're all confused, right? So Tim's usually Red Robin. So we're like, what the fuck?
Is Tim in any of this story at all?
Stand by.
Okay.
Got you.
Go ahead.
So in this version, Bruce still dies. He died, and when I say Bruce dies, he dies in the explosion where Jason should have died.
Right.
Back in
I think they were in like
Maracaibo
Kahndaq or whatever,
wherever it was called.
Or not Kahndaq, but Karak.
Yeah. So, anyways, Bruce dies. This one is actually my favorite because So remember how I told you in the original movie that Bruce goes and sits with Clark in the diner?
Right.
In this version, Jason goes and sits in the same diner, and he's talking to a random guy, and you know right away that it's the Joker.
Oh, really?
He's got no paint, but you know it's DiMaggio, the guy that did the original voice from Under the Red Hood.
Okay.
So you can tell right away. You're like, I know this is the Joker.
Right.
So he's telling stories. He's like, oh, I know Batman's not really around. I know that it's Grayson. He's basically saying, he's like, I know Grayson took over. It's not really Batman.
Right.
He tells some jokes that are from Under the Red Hood. And then the best part is Jason snaps and he stabs him through the eye with a steak knife and kills his ass.
Right.
Right in the middle of the diner.
That's what's
awesome. And this one, he has a final battle with Two-Face in a mall.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Robin's pretty much lost it at this point, right? So he's already killed Joker. He's like, whatever, I'm going to cleanse the city, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess who shows up? There's a little kid that says only villains kill people. And he stops him. And we all assume, we're like, who's this kid? It's Tim Drake.
Fuck yeah.
So Tim stops him from killing Two-Face. And then at the end of this version, Jason is Red Robin and Tim is Bat Kid. It's kind of dumb. Yeah, it's kind of dumb because he's got this cute little cowl and all this.
Fuck yeah.
But
it's kind of like in Deceased, the comic book Deceased. It's like this end of the, we've talked about it. It's like a zombie kind of end of the world thing. Batman dies like issue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfred then later is like, he left this for you. He clearly thought you were ready. And it's a tiny Batman outfit. And he's like, you're now going to have to be the Batman. And it's kind of adorable.
Well, in this version, it's so stupid because it's like a half cowl where you can still see his hair, but he's got the little horns.
Really?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Like Batwoman, Kate Kane, where her big red hair is coming out. Yeah,
pretty much.
That's what's up.
But it's kind of cool because in a lot of different lore that I've seen, like Jason and Tim are very tight.
Right.
Like for some reason they just gravitate towards each other.
Well, not only that, but Jason, I've always said that Tim Drake is like Nightwing is Nightwing. You know, Jason becomes Red Hood. They found those identities. And my favorite thing about Nightwing is in his journey, not only did he realize he didn't want to be in Batman's shadow, but he realized he didn't want to be the Batman. He doesn't want to take over. He doesn't want to be the next Batman.
Right.
Jason clearly took a different path. He's not suited for Batman. The only two people, and it used to just be one, but the only two people who could ever really take over is Tim Drake or Damian. And now we're kind of in that mode where Damian is the rightful heir. He's the son. Right. He will be the Batman someday. But if there was ever a Robin that I thought would have made the perfect next Batman, it's Tim Drake. He is the detective. He's not the quippy, Dick Grayson. He's not the dickish Jason Todd.
I've always been partial to Jason because he's more like the Punisher.
Well, it's fine to have a favorite, but I'm just saying.
But you're right.
Who objectively, who is fit to take over?
Sure,
it's Tim Drake.
Sure. And then we move on to the last ending. There's one more.
Holy fuck.
Yep, and this is my favorite. It's called Red Hood's Reckoning.
Oh.
So it's basically Under the Red Hood. Just a little different.
A little different.
So in the original Under the Red Hood,
give it to me.
Bruce lives.
Yes.
And this one, guess what?
He dies.
He dies.
With Jason? Do they both die?
No. Just Bruce. So imagine we get Under the Red Hood, but Bruce dies, right? So,
okay.
This one's awesome because it's like the same thing, right? Like Jason comes back. He's the Red Hood.
What is it? What do you mean he comes back though?
He
just comes back from that country?
No, he lives. Like he
right.
lives from Sarajevo. That's what it is.
Is that where it is?
Sarajevo or whatever.
I'm sure it's just different.
Anyways,
in every iteration.
he survives. Bruce dies.
Right.
He comes back to Gotham, is what I meant.
Okay.
And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be the Red Hood. I'm going to clean this place up. But he's doing it right this time.
Right.
He's not killing people.
Right.
He's, doing the right thing.
Straight up.
So if you recall the events in Under the Red Hood where they have their showdown on the bridge.
Right.
Where Joker's on the truck and he's like, well, who are you? And he's like, you know me. It's Jason and him on the bridge. Then he has an epiphany. Guess what? Surprise. Jason's actually been murdering people the whole time. He just suppressed the memories.
What? Really?
Yeah. So this is the best ending. So he thought he was doing it Bruce's way because Bruce said, this is the kicker of this one. Bruce said, please don't kill Joker as like his dying wish.
Right.
He said, please don't kill Joker. Please don't kill him because if you do, you'll lose yourself.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I won't. So he goes back and he thinks he's doing it right. And then Joker's like, what are you talking about? Remember all the things you just did? And then they backtrack and show you to where he killed all the lieutenants.
Yeah.
Where he cut all their heads off. He killed all those other people. And he said, this is even better. You repressed it. He's like, you're crazier than me now. So basically, Jason was the Red Hood the whole time. He just didn't think he was. But the kicker is when they have the final showdown, Talia goes, oh, guess who I brought back in the Lazarus pit?
Big old Bruce.
Bruce.
Now this I did see. I did see this very ending.
And guess who has a showdown on a rooftop? Jason and Bruce.
It was very short though.
And guess who wins?
Jason. Pretty quickly. Pretty easily.
And then they lock him up in the Batcave.
Right, to bring him back. However, the kicker for me there was he came back as Zur-En-Arr Batman.
Yeah, but Zur-En-Arr in this version was different because Zur-En-Arr stood for when his father said Zorro, or he said Zorro would just be an outlaw.
Right, I don't think a mass vigilante would work. They would probably just throw Zorro in Arkham.
Yeah, he said
Zorro in Arkham. Zur-En-Arr. Yeah, that was fucking... I honestly thought that was a great twist because Zur-En-Arr Batman in the comics was an amazing... character.
Well, this was an amazing ending.
He was a heroin addict, I think, and he was just a fucking psycho.
Well, in this one, he came back. He had no sleeves.
Yeah.
He looked like Flashpoint Batman, like Thomas Wayne. He had the little shoulder gauntlets, and he was just fucking I think
zombie. He did have sleeves. They're yellow though, and those were just the ripped thing. But he did look very cool.
But the cool thing was Jason was just like, fuck it. He's like,
right.
I know you knew what to do, so I know what to do. And he kicked his ass.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's pretty crazy. So, well, I love it. Fantastic. I can't wait to watch it myself. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely got to check it out. Spoilers or no spoilers, check the fuck out of Batman: A Death in the Family. Again, a lot of people have been complaining because they like rented it or they bought it digitally.
It's been fixed.
Where though?
Because I checked on my Vudu version,
Uh-huh.
and now I have all the endings.
Because on Amazon, apparently it's still not fixed.
Yeah, so disclaimer, as Steve was about to say, this is the only reason I wanted to do this review.
Buy it on Apple.
Please, for the love of God, however you buy it, make sure, because you only get the interactive experience if you're on physical.
Right, the Blu-ray.
Because
Or
you cannot select, because apparently on the Blu-ray, you select how it goes.
Right.
When you get it on digital, no. You just get various endings at best.
Oh, really?
Apparently I did some research, and I missed out on about another 30 minutes of footage.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because you pick alternate ways to get to the end.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Guys, get it on Blu-ray if you get the chance. If not, buy it on either Apple or Vudu, because we know that you'll at least get I rented it, and even when you rent it, they don't give you access to the alternate
ending.
ending.
Shit.
So I got those fucking 4 shorts, and I got the recap. I was pissed.
Well, if you go on Vudu or Apple, the rating's going to be like a 1.9.
Yeah. Which sucks because it genuinely is cool.
Oh, like, it's awesome.
A really, really neat
endings
thing that they did.
Fantastic.
They just accidentally implemented it terribly.
Yeah, they just didn't.
In today's technological world, there should be no reason for that, you know?
Yeah. They actually fixed that a few days later, too. My roommate was like, oh, if you check it out on Vudu, it clearly states now, no interactive version included.
Right.
Didn't do that on initially.
Right. Well, thank you again. Thank you for that expert recounting of Batman: A Death in the Family. We're coming to the end of the show, people. And at the end of the show, as always, I'm going to go over. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of some month, November?
Election day.
Oh, well, day after Election Day.
Day after Election Day.
But with it being Wednesday, new books came out today. So I'm going to give you a quick shout at which books to look out for. Batman number 102, the first appearance of Ghostmaker. It is a first appearance. Call your local comic shop and make sure that you can get a copy. Batman 102, first appearance of Ghostmaker. Young Justice number 20, the final issue of Young Justice as it comes to an end. Tales from the Dark Multiverse. Just like Batman: A Death in the Family, this is the Tales from the Dark Multiverse. They did 5 like last year or earlier this year. They're doing another 5 now. It's dark worlds from the multiverse where certain crises, certain events, if they hadn't gone the way that they did, and this is going to be Tales from the Dark Multiverse. Hush comes out today, and it's basically what if Hush fucked everybody. Literally, yeah. Apparently, it's very pornographic. And then the last book that I'm going to tell you, and you know what? I had somebody the other day who was like, every time you do one of these, you never give a shout out to what Marvel books are coming out. Nobody gives a fuck about what Marvel books are coming out.
Nobody cares. Take your pick of Marvel. Avengers or Spider-Man.
Seriously.
Or whatever.
I will say Spider-Man Miles Morales number 20 comes out today. That's the only book worth giving a fuck. Unless it's Daredevil or The Punisher, I don't give a fuck. Walking Dead Deluxe number 2. Again, I'm going to sing the praises because Walking Dead is being released bi-weekly from start to finish. 193 issues. It's going to take 7 years for them to release all of them, but they're being released in color in a deluxe edition, issue by issue every other week. So I have that on my pull. I'm very excited to read the second issue, and go check that out. It is available today, the 4th. Other than that, thank you guys so much. Please give us a share, give us a like, give us a rating. Facebook, the Bat in the Hat Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Bat Hat Pod. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you share us to your friends. Don't hog the nerdiness. Just be cool about it. Don't be a dick. Other than that, I'm pretty much done. Matt, you got anything else for the good people?
Just don't be a dick, I guess.
Don't be a dick. Hey, and if this election didn't go the way you want it, don't be a bitch about it. Everybody have a good night. Bye-bye.